noticed everyone has been opting for their dinner parties to be served buffet style. And I love a good buffet, but I do think we need to get back to our roots with family style dining. It's communal, it helps everyone talk, it keeps everyone engaged, and passing the food is the perfect icebreaker. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create this festive, holiday style spread with some tips on how you can do it at home. Taking you through today's journey is me, your host, Taylor Rankin, and welcome to Chow, hosting with a bite, because whether it's hello or goodbye, you are in for a delicious time. So first things first, when setting any family style table, I always start with my tablecloth. This time though, I've been obsessed with using curtains as tablecloths. It's a lot cheaper and you get a lot more of a variety, and you can also really ruche it together, spread it out, customize it to however you like, especially when you have a table like mine that is an extending table. So since we are going to be serving quite a few people, let's extend it from strong enough. Oh, there you go. Beautiful. Wayfair, count your days though, because I had another one in my cart and you guys sold it as I was pressing checkout. So then I got this one from Nebraska Furniture, which was very similar. I felt like taking candy from a baby. There you go. Close it in like magic. Make sure our chairs are all at equal outage. You want to call it that? Beautiful. Time for the curtains. For this holly jolly spread, I opted in for some crimson velour, velvety, kind of warm feeling. I wanted to kind of feel like Santa's suit a little bit on the table in the most like non-creepy way possible. Yeah. Yes, this is very much so. It is giving Santa's suit. I like to overlap those edges a bit if I'm using curtains. And I like when it's like kind of ruffled and imperfect, feels more so draped. Let's get these seams a little more consistent. It doesn't have to be perfect because of everything we'll be placing on top, but just try to get it to your liking for the most part. I think this is looking super cute. And I love functional pieces. So I have this runner that I feels like gives Christmas, it gives Merry, but it also, I feel like it's very springy, very Eastery, very fall, and it has birds on it, which I thought was really cute. I'll let our runner go. I'm hoping that it's long enough for the extended table. Beautiful. Now moving on to our placeholders, I chose something that was like really green without it overtaking everything that we'll need to put on the table. I'm just obsessed with this concept of a fern, round placeholder. This will also act as a guide for our runner to be properly centered so that no one is completely overwhelmed with everything and being in their space. Make sure everything is right across from each other. And beautiful. Now, as far as decorating, we're going to take a pause here because we're serving everything family style. I'm going to show you my perfect way to set a table family style. I feel like everyone really does focus on decorating the table and then serving everything buffet style, which don't get me wrong, I really love too, but I do want to kind of bring back that communal feeling of a family style dining experience with your friends, with people that you might know, people that you might not know. It's gonna be very fun. I find it personally very helpful to place all of your platters on some sort of a rolling apparatus. Right now, I'm using my desk stand that is typically in my living room. You can use whatever you want, but I do think having some sort of cart for your food, for your platters, for your decor even, is going to be very, very helpful in just life, honestly. Sometimes you just need a rolling cart. Like, I don't know what else to say. So we have quite a few dishes that are coming out, which you will see in a second. But we have some big platters that we'll want to arrange properly. We have 2 proteins, 2 starches, 2 veggies. And sometimes I'll do proteins in the middle, sides on the outside, sides in the middle, proteins on the outside. Typically how I decide how to do that is if everyone knows each other and if I want people to talk a little bit more. So the proteins will typically go on the outside if the people who no one really knows are on the outside so that they can be asked to bring everything in. Or if I'm having the people that don't really know everyone sit in the middle, then they'll have to say, hey, can you pass me the, and it'll really be like a little bit of an icebreaker in conversation, especially if no one knows each other. When everyone knows each other, I kind of just wing it in whatever I think looks best, like based on the color or the height or the texture of the food. So I think for today, we will do something that is a little bit of a hybrid where it's protein side, protein side. I think that'll be really beautiful as far as height and as far as just like gazing down. And it'll be, everyone will have access to some sort of protein, because I mean, you don't want to have to ask somebody to pass you the lamb chops every time. Let's do a small side platter right there. Side platter. And we're placing everything down first so that we can decorate around it. Because the last thing you want to do is have this beautiful table and you're like, hey, where am I gonna put the food? How is everyone gonna reach a food? Or not keeping in mind that people might be wearing things like sleeves in the winter because it's Christmas. And if they have to reach over too many things, it's gonna get in the food, they're gonna get dirty. It's just gonna be a mess. So keep those things in mind. And of course, when you set it down, it's not like set in stone or anything. You can move it as you decorate, but just always have what you're serving with on the table as you're decorating if you're serving family style, which I think is sometimes the superior communal style. And as far as choosing platters, I try to choose things that are a little neutral, but also complementary. So I have things that are clear, off-white. This is an off-white with kind of like an orange rim that kind of matches the gold platter a little bit. Or I just like to do something really beige and basic, but it has some sort of design. I get most of my things from Home Goods a lot of the time. Some of them are from trips that I've gone on, like this is, if you follow me on any of the platform or this platform, you know I love my things from Portugal. This is Bordalo Pinheiro. I got it from Vista Alegre in Porto, Portugal. One of my favorite things. You also know that I broke the plate. So, moment of silence. Anyways, we have all of our platters. Now let's grab the rest of our decor. Now when adding on the rest of the decorations, you can use florals, you can use whatever you want. I'm opting in for fake florals, greenery, shrubs today, because anything that's like Christmas theme, I feel like it sheds really bad. And also I could not find chrysanthemums. So we're working with what we have. One of the most important things to think about when setting a table, especially family style or not, is can everyone see over each other? Can everyone reach each other? The reaching each other is most important for family style, because if I'm going to go past someone something that I have brought to me across, you don't want to get stuck. So we're just gonna keep that in mind. For the dinner table, I love to get things that are really beautiful to look down on. So this, I feel like is so gorgeous. It's got those frosted, like the fake frosted cranberry. I love something that's like a low profile where you can see over it, and looking over it is really where the true beauty is. Look at that visual appeal, and it's so beautiful looking down on it versus looking at it, especially for a table. Now I'm a candle girl, so there will be candles on every single setup that I usually do. And I love to place my candle holders where I think that it will have a pocket so nobody knocks it over and we don't start a fire, but also still really set the mood, because I like to turn the lights off, but with the lights off, you can't see anyone. So I try to put the candles to where it's close enough so that the light will illuminate someone's face that you're trying to talk to, but also, again, not be close enough to if they're drinking or if they're grabbing something, it won't knock over. Sometimes your friends can just be careful, but we're gonna workshop this really quick. Place that there. Put some of the outer. Get another one right here would be really cute. One thing about me is I love mixed metals, so I will never just stick to gold or silver. I'm going to do both every single time. That out. We also want to illuminate the food just a little. So as we start to work on finalizing this spread, just move the candles if you sit and you think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hit that. That's okay. Yeah, let's put some trees out. A little off center from the conversation. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, the best taper candles, in my opinion, are the sand and fog taper candles. They last so long, they burn so nicely. They don't have a whole bunch of sparks coming off them. They literally just melt so beautifully, like almost like in the movies where you're watching like a spooky movie and you're just like, wow, like that candle looks so luscious. I don't even know the word to say. When you get them, you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're gonna do some scattered white. I only have 3 of these. So let's maybe go 1 on the inside, 2 on the outside. Beautiful. Now I have some red candles. Also, fun fact, get your taper candles from HomeGoods if you can. I do think they have the best selection. They are a little more pricey than you would get on like an Amazon or like in Walmart in the college section, which if that's what you're getting, that's totally fine too. You just need it for the mood. Oh, look how long those are. That is so elegant. Yeah, it gives it nice height, especially if you're not using florals. Whatever you can do to give it height, whether you put something underneath your platters, what have you, try to have varying heights on your table. It's gonna make it look so much more stunning than if everything was flat. Always play with height and texture, always. And it will look stunning every single time, I promise. Crooked candles bother me so bad. Sometimes if I just can't fix it, I'll just try to ignore the fact that it's crooked, which is not good, but I just like won't wanna sit next to the crooked candle. It'll drive me insane. I think this looks stunning, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break right now to warm up the food and get our garnishes set up, because garnishes are very important to the decor as well, especially when you're serving something family style. So let's go to the kitchen. Now, arguably the most important part of a dinner party is dinner. And I'm not gonna lie, this is a beautiful, absolutely delicious, scrumptious, it smells amazing. I really wish you could smell it through the screen. But I'm gonna take you on the journey of how I got everything, because I did not cook today. I'm not gonna lie, when I don't feel like doing something, I'm paying someone to do it every single time, big or small. Especially being a chef, there's nothing better than eating food that you did not have to cook. So I reached out to my friend, Chef Cam, and she put together a little Thanksgiving spread for us. I'm very excited, like, very talented, very hardworking. If you need a chef in Dallas for catering, meal preps, etc., she's the whole package. Hit her up. I got a few things. We'll be home in a second, where you'll get to see what she made us. Now, whether you made the food yourself or you're picking it up, garnishing is going to be your best friend. It is almost as important as decorating the table, if not more important, because you want the dishes to be stunning, and everyone, of course, eats with their eyes. You know, when everyone comes over and they see everything and they're hungry and they're ready to eat and they're ready to talk, they're ready to gossip, they're gonna be eyeing your food and your table. And I don't know if you've ever been over someone's house where the food just does not look very good. It hasn't happened to me personally. No, it has actually. It has actually happened quite a bit, and you're just kind of looking at it and then you're like, dang, like I knew I shouldn't have came hungry. This is going to prevent your guests from having that feeling. So starting out, the first thing we're going to do is make some green onion strings. These are some of my favorite things, and they actually sell little tools that you can use to shred them pretty easily. We don't have that tool, so I'm going to show you how I like to do it. There's two different ways that you can actually do it. So for this garnish, you need a bowl with water and ice, and then scissors, a knife, or the little special tool. So we have our green onions. You really only want the green parts for this. You can have like a little bit of that white part, but you don't want too much because it's going to be a little pungent. If you watched my videos before, we have definitely talked about how the green part is what you're going to see garnished because it's a lot sweeter, it's a lot milder. And then you have the white parts, which is going to have that more oniony, traditional taste. I'm going to show you with the knife first. You take it, you split open the green onion. Be very careful, make sure your knives are sharp, because the most dangerous tool in the kitchen really is a dull knife. You have it split, right? Beautiful. Now just take your knife and try to get it as thin as possible as you slide down that first half, okay? It does not have to be like perfectly aligned. You can make different heights, different lengths of strips, and I'm gonna show you why that is. So there we go. And then into our ice water. This garnish does take a little bit of time, so I always suggest that if you're like cooking together with your friends to then have dinner, you guys can all do this because it's so like low stakes. I mean, definitely pay attention to what you're doing, but it is low stakes enough to where you can kind of still chat and like have fun, and it's like enrichment time almost. Now, alternatively, the scissors. Just go in with your favorite kitchen shears, slice it. I love to get that first slice in and then just slide the green onions up, because usually kitchen shears just aren't really gonna fit all that much. Now, you have a more open surface area at this point, So you can then slice with scissors and then go in and slice with knife. A lot of people do that. But you can also just go in and slide your scissors up to make little strips. Now this is going to be really helpful if you're someone who maybe doesn't have the best knife skills, but you still want to get your strings the length of the green onion without it being fragmented like it would be with having to have a lot more control with the knives. And as always, be super careful. This is not the time to try to look cute while cutting. This is the time to make sure you don't cut yourself. I mean, you can do both, like me. Drop that in. So we have quite a bit of food to serve, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish these, but I'm sending you to the next garnish. Now I have some fruit here because sometimes the best garnish is one that comes from the earth. I love to just play with the colors of fall and winter so much. Super simple, lemon slices. Sometimes when I'm plating these with things like poultry, I like to take a knife, slice from right on the edge of the peel through the other side, and then pull it like that. This is one of my favorite garnishes, super simple. I know some people also use a mandolin for this, which is an option. Anyways, if you have some that are like not coming out all that great, that's okay because you can just tuck them under. I like to have some of the butts. You can also char this like on a griddle, whatever you have, sear them in a really hot pan. And it'll give you some really nice color and a nice flavor. And you can save the little butts to squeeze over. It creates the perfect little juice mist. Now our blood oranges. I just love blood oranges. I feel like they're so stunning in such a stark contrast. Wow, just look at that. Oh my gosh. Same thing here. You can take any ugly pieces. I shouldn't call them ugly. Just any wacky pieces. And that's stunning. Now I'm gonna teach you how to plate like a pro. Whether you bought it, you made it yourself, what have you, we're gonna take all of this and put it on some stunning platters and just dress it up. First up, let's plate the chicken. Now, tip. Sometimes you can plate all of everything, put it on the table, but you do not have to. Sometimes you can plate 3/4 of it is what I'd recommend, and then leave the rest of it in the oven on a warm setting. Then when everyone is getting ready to refill their drinks, or just one person says, hey, can I go use the restroom, something, because then everyone else will be like, oh, this is my opportunity. Then that will be your opportunity to then go re-up the food, keep everything nice, fresh, hot, and also not clutter the table too much if you don't have the space. So, pro tip. Now I'm putting on some gloves because I want to manhandle the chicken. I'll pull it closer. All these beautiful juices. And if it's too hot for you, you can get some oven mitt gloves. They usually come with like barbecue glove kits. Put them on under and then put on your gloves. Or just use utensils. That's completely up to you. But I'm gonna show you my plan for getting everything nice and hot and keeping it hot. Now I've seen people use really cute platters, but they will be plastic. And I'm not necessarily anti-plastic platter, but I am very pro just investing in your dinnerware, especially things like ceramics, because they can go in the oven. We're gonna pop this in the oven on a warm setting. If you don't want to do that, or if it's not necessarily oven safe, but it is microwave safe, pop your plate in the microwave to heat it up and then put your hot food on that plate. And it's exactly what we would do in the restaurant to keep your food hot. In the oven this goes. For the lamb chops, I wanted to plate it with a little bit of texture. This is food safe newspaper. I always get comments like, no, it's toxic. I know that, guys. This is food safe. And then I'm just gonna use some tongs to lay them all out. There's not really a rhyme or way of how I'm gonna lay these out. I just kind of want them laid out to where you can kind of grab that bone. I guess there is a rhyme or a way. That is a rhyme or a way, huh? So I want you to be able to grab that bone, and I want it to look just like all over and plentiful. We already actually had a few to snack on. They're very tasty. So I have quite a few herbs, and I'm trying to figure out if I want to stuff in some sage or like chop something and sprinkle it all over. Or better yet, we'll take some rosemary, put it in a few of those blank spots. So aromatic. Split any of those branches, pop them under, just fill it out. I think that looks really good. Amazing. And now lemon slices. You want to give it volume and color in contrast. I know I say that a lot, but guys, it's really important. Sometimes I like to layer some over, some under. You get the vibe. Go over and under right there. Gorgeous. Now there is this unspoken rule, it's actually quite spoken, of how many things that you need to properly garnish. And in my learnings and in my experience, an odd number is always going to do you the most justice. So right now I have 6 lemon slices and I'm like, this feels a little empty. Watch, I'm gonna put one right in the corner. It's gonna feel a little bit better. Now if you're like, girl, it's not that serious. It is. It's not, but it is, you know? Right there in that corner. And I think that is stunning. Now right into the oven it goes. Make sure with platters like this and parchment like this, you do not put that oven over 200 degrees. Please do not call me if you burn down your house, okay? Now let's do a rapid run through everything else. Just taking everything and putting it in the dishes that we already pre-chose out. Easy peasy, right? Now for the mac and cheese, I'm sure you already know what we're going to do. When you take it from a container and you put it in another container, it obviously looks like you scooped it out and put it in something else. So we're gonna scoop it out, put it in something else, and then doctor it up so it still maintains the integrity of a beautiful dish. I'm gonna loosen up the edges. We're gonna try to keep some of that royal top going all the way around, because I do want to preserve at least a little bit of the mac. I'm gonna cut around the most beautiful parts, AKA that beautiful broil. Start scooping the outside, scoop it inside. Try to leave that center part open. Now we're gonna go in for that center part as best as we can, that beautiful broil. Pop it right on top. And start filling in those empty spots. We're going to top like the crevices with cheese and then bring it into the center to blend it basically. The mac and cheese is your canvas and the cheese is your paint basically. Really blend it out. And then top it in the middle. Gorgeous. Rapid garnish time, are you ready? We have our chicken. Now, out of everything that we prepped, what do you think should go in the chicken? I'll give you a second. If you said below orange slices and herbs, we have the same line. Get all around. Be super careful, the plate is going to be hot if you also just pulled it out of the oven. Well, what herb are we thinking? Maybe some sage. Also, meanwhile, these herbs are 2 weeks old. Put them in a mason jar in water and then cover them with an upside down Ziploc bag that's not sealed, obviously, because you can't seal it over the jar, but these look so good. I'm gonna take some sage, nestle it around in the little pockets. Just play with it until it looks how you like. I think this is stunning. Lamb chops as a beautiful finish. Just gonna take some flaky salts. You don't want to add too much because you don't want your food to be salty. You just want it to look textured. Literally take a shot every time I say textured. The Brussels. I think for this to mix some of the greens, I'm going to take a little bit of our curly green onions. Let me show you how they look. Now going back to when we were prepping this, the ice water helps it curl up so nicely. When I'm doing like something for a family gathering or just people that might be of all different ages, of all different dietary preferences, instead of using things like microgreens that are gorgeous, they're still sprouts and they can get people really sick, especially babies and the elderly. So to still get that kind of like wowza topping and that height that microgreens and sprouts give you, you can just take some green onions, slice them, pop them in ice water, and they will get this beautiful, dramatic curl. There you go. So we're just gonna top the Brussels with a little to contrast the green. But it looks good, guys. Beautiful. That's still really hot. And lastly, our carrots. For this, we're just gonna go in with a little more sage, sprout it out. Now we'll know you're probably wondering, why hasn't she cleaned off the plates? I'm not cleaning them off until they get to the dinner table because they're gonna look crazy. Now, if you have a team or some helpers, family, however, you can do whatever you want. Mac is in the oven. While it broils, let's finish the table. Now, using our pre-arranged spaces, let's pop our food on the table. Now with the mac and cheese, if you don't use pre-shredded cheese, it might turn out better when you do a nice broil. I use pre-shredded cheese because that's the only cheese that I have. So, yes. But a garnish will save everything. Mashed potatoes. Now that everything is on the table, while it's still hot, let's rapid fire place little trinkets in between. So I have these little cranberry sticks. Just gonna stuff right under our plates. I know you're probably thinking, girl, aren't those hot? Sometimes you just gotta sacrifice things for the table. But to really fill it in, I have some snowy looking pine cones. I'm actually really allergic to pine. I'm gonna send you to a little etiquette dining lesson. Meet you back here. So a little birdie told me you wanna learn all about Etiquette 101 Dining Edition. So I'm gonna show you what I know. Etiquette happens to be my special interest, especially as it relates to dining etiquette, and I have my mom to thank for that because she put me in etiquette classes since I was 8 years old. I'll be honest, I used to think that they were kind of unnecessary, but now that I'm older, I understand that it is truly so functional. And if you've been here a while, you know that I'm always going to choose function over fashion, but I love when I can choose both. And that's what I think proper dining etiquette is the epitome of. I'm gonna show you some of the tips that I've learned over the years and how I do things. Now, I know there's a lot of hoopla about different ways to do things. I'm just gonna show you what I was taught and what I like to do. Starting with our cutlery. You have a knife, you have a fork. Dinner knife, dinner fork. That's gonna go closest to the plate, knife facing the plate. You want it to be facing in. This comes from the knives usually being steak knives back in the day, and you didn't want anyone to potentially hurt themselves, especially if they are right-handed. They could just pick it up, grab it wrong, be in conversation, cut themselves. Keep your guests safe, point the knife towards plate. Then fork on the left side, closest inwards of the plate. And let me not get ahead of myself. Charger, placemat, whatever you want, have it down first and then stack everything accordingly. If you have a placemat that is pretty long, like the rectangular ones, you can just stack the cutlery on top of it. But if you have something a little more dramatic like me, just place it on the outside. Quick tip, make sure that they are lined up. So if you had something straight right here, like a ruler or a yardstick, they are right aligned. They would both be touching that line. Next, salad fork, appetizer, starter fork goes right next to it on the outside. I have two that are about the same size because I am just really weird about the size of forks. I like little forks, not like crazy huge ones. Take that information as you will, do what you want. Now, if you're serving something like a soup, you want to have a soup spoon. You want to have 2 spoons, but we'll get into the second spoon later. Soup spoon goes right next to the knife, outside of the knife. So basically, if you haven't gotten the gist yet, you go from where they'll start eating to where they'll end eating. Out to in. And one helpful tip that really helped me when I was growing up, learn how to easily do these things and navigate. And I would be like, wait, which side does it go on again? Knife has 5 letters in it, so does the word right, so it goes on the right. Fork has 4 letters in it, and so does the word left, so that goes on the left. That really helped me a lot growing up. And same with spoon. 5 letters, right has 5 letters, it goes on the right. And now I never second guess it. I've also been doing it for a while, but hopefully that really helps you when you're setting your like left, 4, right, 5. You can also have like other things. Sometimes you'll need like a fish fork or an extra knife. Sometimes if I know that I'll be serving starters, I'll take another knife and do dinner, starter. You don't want them to be too low though, because I know you've probably experienced so many times where someone will hit it and it'll hit on the floor. It's not that big of a deal, but to avoid it, just try to make sure it's at least like an inch or two away from the edge. Now you can't forget about dessert. Typically with dessert, you want to have a dessert fork and a dessert spoon, never either or. The reason is you use both. You use the fork to scoop onto the spoon, basically, right? Less messy eating. Now I'm gonna show you a few different things that I've learned over the years, but again, I mean, it's your table and just make it functional for how you want. Don't let anyone hoity-toity tell you what you're supposed to do because, you know, whatever. Dessert spoon faces the left. Dessert fork faces the right. And it goes at the top of the plate, center. There's a very specific reason why, but the easiest way for me to remember which way they always face is because you want to be able to drag it down to the outside. So basically, after all of the rest of these have been cleared from the table, after the rest of your cutlery has been used, now you'll just have these two on the side brought down, right? Spoon goes on top, fork goes on the bottom, you bring them down. Easy enough, right? Now let's go into the rest of our setup. Now we're doing a super basic setup that you just want to do, especially if you're serving family style dinner like we're doing today. Starting off, dinner plate. Just like with the cutlery, it goes first use to last use from outside to inside. You want to do that with your plate stack. So we're going to start with our dinner plate. And this really does depend on what you will actually be serving. So now we're just doing dinner, no starters, no salad, no soup, anything like that. So this would be all I would plate. All of this, and then the dessert would be for if the guest brought a dessert or if I decide to make something, you know, last minute and be snazzy. Next, you'd have a starter plate. Now, there's been a lot of hoopla about starters and all the other stuff in a technical term, whatever you want to call it. I personally do think hors d'oeuvres are standing appetizers that you do not need cutlery for. They are 1 to 2 bite, you have it on a plate, you're standing, and you eat it. A proper starter is something that I believe you eat sitting down. So starter plate, whatever you want to call it, right in the center. And then if you're serving soup or salad, you'll have a salad plate right on top of that. So then as everyone eats, they load it up. You as the host, take it away as it's dirty. Then they eat the starter. You as the host, take it away as it's dirty, or whoever you've hired. But I mean, this economy, look, maybe you got it like that. Look, I'm not pocket watching. And now the napkin. That can go beautifully designed right in the center. I love a good center napkin. I love when it's just like there. I'm dabbling with the idea of getting personalized napkins for everyone that will have their name in it, kind of like how I have this Bon Appetit right here. But another option is to place it outside on the left side. If you don't place it in the center, the napkin always goes on the left. Or you can put it under, if you have something that's a lot more flat, you can put it underneath your forks on this side. And lastly, we can't forget about the drinks. Now I see so much information about this as well and how people think it should be and all this other thing. I'm gonna show you the 2 ways that I was taught and you can just choose your favorite. Typically in proper etiquette, you'll have a white wine glass, a red wine glass, a goblet. There's multiple glasses that you can have. I don't want that many glasses on the table. I feel like it makes a lot of spills necessary and that's a lot of alcohol. Water goblet. That's gonna go around like 1 to 2 o'clock. Now, the wine glass is where I see a lot of varying opinions. I was first taught that the wine glass goes out right behind at that 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right? In front of the plate. Because then you have your water goblet and then they can go around and do their wine. But I've also seen it to where some people will put it right on top of the knife or the spoon. Some people will even line up the water goblets with the knives and then have the wine glass lined above the spoon. I think that's a little too far away, especially for how glamorously dramatic this is. So we can't get our cutlery all that close. So I'm just gonna go 2 o'clock, and I do really like the wine glass being kind of next to it, rounded out along the plates and everything, because then you don't risk having to like reach over or reach behind, and it's uncomfortable, especially if you're serving something family style. That just makes it like a little too close to the food. And like, especially if your guests have nails or anything, especially the longer nails, if they reach over, their fingers could get in the food. And then they just have food under their nails and everyone's looking like, You just put your nails in the food. But I really hope you enjoyed this little mini etiquette 101. We could talk about this all day. We could go even more in depth if you want. But this is everything that you really need in your dining starter kit, especially for these holidays if you're hosting at a table, a sit down, which I highly encourage you to do in these crazy times. Community is so important, and there's no better community shared than over food. So I'm gonna send you back, and this cutlery is coming with me. So how was the lesson? She's great, right? Let's garnish. I'm adding some freshly chopped chives to the mashed potatoes, to the mac and cheese, and to utilize the rest of these beautiful green onions. I'm gonna top them right on top of the chicken. Now all of my cutlery and napkins are missing because of the lesson, so just pretend that they're here right now. Let's light the candles, get ready for our guests, and chow down. Now I need to track down that crazy lady who has all of my cutlery and my napkins. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining. I hope you learned quite a bit new, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. But this was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Ciao. Ciao.